And I'd like to welcome back from the United Board, Carl Randazzo. And Carl is, among other things, the chair of the Architectural Committee, am I correct?
Well, I chaired it for my colleague who was out of town this past week. I've been doing a lot of chairing for the Architectural Committee because people seem to be out of town a lot lately. In any case, I'd like to discuss what went on in the Architectural Committee yesterday, and also what things we can do for the standards that we have already developed for the Architectural Committee. And then I'd also like to discuss committees in general in United and how you could possibly participate. And as I mentioned, we had that Architectural Committee meeting yesterday. And at the meeting, we discussed an alteration request associated with the installation of a ramp for those people that could not climb steps. We currently have a standard for installing a ramp that has gone to the board and is on a 28-day hold. It was approved in our last board meeting. However, in this case, the ramp was asked to be installed in a common area, which requires board approval. When a ramp is needed to be installed, the request needs to come from the member and not a tenant, should the manor be rented out. And the thing right now is, in this particular case, the tenant was going to need it, so there was some complications there. It will also be paid for by the member, and it also requires documentation from a health care provider to document the fact that the person that needs the ramp cannot be mobile without some mechanical assistance. The issue in question at the meeting was the fact that the common area is being requested to be used for this purpose. Permanent structures are not normally permitted to be built in a common area. This is not a structure, but it is a permanent thing. It's concrete. However, in this particular instance, a dispensation can be granted by the board, provided certain stipulations are met, including the need to ensure that there is a real need for the ramp, and this would need to come from a medical professional. With regard to alterations, as I have just mentioned, United has developed a standard for ramps as well as other alterations. In the case of the standard alteration for ramps, it addresses ramps that would not be constructed in a common area. If the ramp that we addressed in the meeting yesterday was not going to be located in a common area, the standard could have been used and no board approval would have been required. With that in mind, and to ease the process to make alterations to your manor, I have previously stated here on TV6 and at various meetings that the Alterations Department has developed over 30 standards that have been approved by the board. If an alteration wants to be accomplished within your manor that falls under one of the already approved standards, then the process to obtain the alterations approval from United has been made easier with just a visit to the alterations office and the filling out of a couple of forms. The 30-plus standards can be accessed online on the Laguna Woods Village website.
So we're going to bring up a couple pages here from the website to kind of show how people can go through this. Here's the front page of the website, and you can see right up there where the red arrow is the Documents tab. So on the next one, if you click on the Documents tab, on the next page that you'll see all the boards there, including the towers and VMS. Of course, we're talking about United. So you would click on the United tab or box there, and then the next page will take you to Documents. Now, I only have a picture of the top of the page, but as you scroll down, you'll see all the different things there. Of course, the agendas, meeting minutes, and so on. And as I said, as you keep scrolling, you see more and more. But that's how you get to all those items.
And one of those arrows you'll see where it says meeting minutes and agendas, one of them will be architectural standards. And when you click on the architectural standards, it opens up a whole list of standards that have been developed. And there's over 30 of those standards with regard to actually doing some alterations within your manor. Now, however, there's always a but. However, please be advised that after the alterations office provides their approvals, after you've gotten your standard, and you get your approvals from the alterations office, you will still need to apply for the permits from the city of Laguna Woods. This part of the process has been taking a lot longer recently than what we had anticipated. Therefore, at this meeting, we also discussed the steps that we need to take in order to address the concerns that we have heard from the residents and contractors regarding this issue. We're taking this very seriously. We are aware that it is taking longer, and what we would like to do is we are trying to make it better. However, we still need to work within the city rules. So obviously you have city rules, but you're trying to make it better. There are various different things you need to do. So easing this process is taking a lot more than what time that was anticipated, and we are trying to be proactive to address this problem. And we are planning meetings with the contractors in the city to get down to the bottom of this and try to ease the problem. So we are working towards a goal here. It may not take overnight, but we're going to get there. And then now I'd like to talk about the committees themselves.
Okay.
And the committees in United, and also in Third, but I'm talking about United. As I've stated in the past, the work of the United Board starts and is worked on in the committee meetings. The United committee meetings are shown on the Team Up calendar, which is located on the Laguna Woods Village website. In order to get to the Team Up calendar, you go to Laguna Woods Village website, then you click on the calendars, and you'll note on the other one, you'll see there was that thing at the top, and one of them was calendars.
Yeah, all up there.
See where it says, next to documents, it says clubs and then calendars. You click on those calendars, and once you click on the calendars, you'll see that it'll come up with the Team Up calendar. When you find, on that Team Up calendar, when you find a meeting, and it's basically set up by days, when you find a meeting, you can then click on that meeting, because there's a little link in that calendar, okay, in that particular item, that says agendas. You click on the agendas, okay, and in there you will see what's going to be discussed at that meeting and the talking points that will happen at that meeting. Members are welcome to attend all the open meetings, and they're delineated on the Team Up calendar as either closed or not closed, meaning that they don't have an indication that they're not closed. If they say closed, you're not allowed to go. If it doesn't say anything, 9 times out of 10, it's an open meeting. If you have a concern or a question, or are just interested in seeing how the process works, then come to an open committee meeting. You may actually learn something that may be of benefit to you. However, just be aware of the protocols that need to be followed while you are in the meeting. You raise your hand. There are certain times that you can ask questions. There are certain protocols you have to follow. Also, if a meeting is held on the second floor, then you need to sign it at the reception desk and be escorted up to the meeting. So there are a couple of things you have to follow, but you know, for the most part, you're invited to the meeting as long as it's open. You have to follow the protocols within the meeting, and you have to follow the protocols to get up to the meeting. And then once you're there, as long as you follow the protocols, you can learn something, ask questions, or what have you, and get involved. And that's really very important. You should start getting involved in this community, because it's only to your benefit. You'll at least see how the process works. We don't always get the job done the first time, but we try to get it done the way it needs to get done. We all vote our conscience for the most part. And that's all I have.
All right, Carl, always good to see you.
Well, same here.
Thank you very much, sir.
Take care.
Say hi to everyone for me on the board. And, you know, I've used those calendars too, so it's very easy to get to. Once you do it once, you know, like a lot of things, like finding documents, you do it one time, then you're good to go. Then you remember.
That's great. Okay, thanks.
Take care.
Appreciate it.
Back.
Take care.
Yeah, that's true. It's like